Welcome back to the Second Life podcast. This show is about where you're going once you figure out you're going somewhere. Guys, I am so excited about this show because I feel like I'm in my second life. And one of the things that I want to talk to you about is what I'm doing in my second life. And I have something here that I want to share with you guys. It's called Reclaiming Childhood Capital. When I think about my childhood home, wow, it's an amazing experience when I really think about where I came from and where I am today. I grew up in Philadelphia. I grew up in South Philadelphia. You know, that's where my life started. And that's where I was a kid, like a real kid, right? Not that I wasn't a kid after that. I was about 8.5, 9 years old when we moved. But now that I have kids, 9 is a big age, right? You remember your life before 9, okay? No matter how old you get, you're going to always remember your life before you turn 9. So that was a big part of my childhood growing up there. We didn't take many vacations. We didn't have that much money. We just got back from Florida, guys. We drove down to Florida with the family, and it was a great experience. And you know, when I was coming up, we didn't have that much money, that much disposable money or time. That's another thing people forget. Even if we had a couple extra dollars, which we didn't, nobody had the level of time to take off of work for a week or two and be just disconnected and continue on with your life. That's a very wealthy thing to do. So, you know, on the way back, we were talking, me and my wife, and I was just saying, wow, I didn't, you know, when I started thinking about reclaiming your childhood capital, it started getting me to thinking about my adult life and how much money I've made and how much I realized how much we didn't have, right? How poor we really were when we were children, you know, and when I got to work in the investment business, I started to truly realize, like, wow, like, you don't understand. If you're watching this show, I guarantee you do not understand what I'm talking about because you have to see it for yourself. Now, you might have seen somebody with a lot of money, but imagine this. Imagine the most money you've ever known anyone to have, and the people that I'm working with have that in one account, right? That's just in one account. And whatever the case may be. My point is, I'm not here playing the who has more money Olympics. I'm just telling you that when you go see how much money these people that are investing have, you realize, wow, we didn't have anything. Like, we were making it work on nothing. But you know what really hit me? It wasn't that. It was when I got older and started to meet other black families that had done well in the past, and to see what they have amassed and accumulated and do and where they've been, what schools they go to, and you're just like, wow, that actually is the kicker. That's what hit me to make me truly realize that we were poor. We were really poor. We didn't have much money. We had a house. My dad was trying to make investments and purchase other properties, but it got tough. You know, times got tight. You need the money. You can't build a real estate empire when you don't have the capital to truly sustain any level of setback. So I tell that story because where we grew up was so fun. I loved where we grew up. I loved everything about my neighborhood, my friends, and the amenities that we had. I say amenities, but they were to us, right? Going outside and riding our bike on the street, playing football on the street, and having a football to play with. See, like, those are the little things, right? The water, the fire hydrant, we call it a water plug. We go out there and play and turn it on and off and have fun. We watch for cars. We look out for each other. The basketball court, the hoop, the public school around the corner, the water ice stand. I'm telling you, we had a good time in the 90s as kids, but we didn't have money. You know what I mean? And these childhood memories and this nostalgia, you know, really bring back times for me that I think about. You know, when I was growing up, my whole family lived around us, you know, and it was nice. We all didn't have any money, right? So that's what we're talking about here, guys. Being successful and building a legacy and a generation of people that make money in your family. And that's what we want to do, is empower you, educate you. I want to be that beacon of light and hope to heal you and your community, but also give you the knowledge and the literacy that you need to go out here and invest like a knowledgeable, rational investor, right? So we're going to empower you and educate you, all right, on real estate strategy and credit repair and first-time homebuyer guides, right? Because we want you to have a transformation and a testimony, real people, real healing, real keys in your hand to your childhood home. Or what if you live in your childhood home right now and you buy the house next door to you? You just made your life that much better. And you are starting the path to create generational wealth in your family, right? And we're going to build a movement. I believe this is going to become a movement. This is my first time talking about it on camera. I can't wait to keep talking about it because this is bigger than a sale, guys. I'm not trying to sell you something here. I want you to pay for what you're getting. I want you to pay for the value that you're getting, not only in this information, but if this video sparked an idea in you, if you felt something in your chest, in your stomach, if you started to cry, if your soul is on fire from hearing my words, then you have been touched by reclaiming childhood capital. And I want you to understand that this is emotional. This is generational. This is not a sale. I can't buy your legacy for $2,500. I can't buy your soul healing for $2,500. You can't even buy a Chanel bag for $2,500. So what I'm saying is, in this lifetime, you have to decide what you're going to spend money on. And that's going to be what you get. If you spend money on Chanel bags, you get a bag that can hold a few things. If you spend money on education, you get smarter. If you spend money on assets, you're going to make money and be able to purchase that Chanel bag. All right. So what I also want from this movement is visual soul, visual happiness, right? Black joy, family homes, Black families in a home loving each other, right? And it's amazing how often we see the opposite. Where do we see Black families on a porch just loving each other, hugging each other, encouraging each other, having fun, playing cards, not arguing, not fighting, not shooting each other, right? And you're going to have some truly, truly moments of redemption from grown-ups, guys. I can't wait to see this, guys. It's going to be pretty fun to do. What would it feel like to own your childhood home? Man. Well, I'll tell you, I own my childhood home. And there's another childhood home that I have in South Philly that I should go reclaim. If you guys start signing up for this program, I'm going to start the process of doing the same thing you're doing with my first childhood home. But I own the home I grew up in. It's amazing. It's a great feeling to own the place where you started your life, right? Own the place where your parents lived their later years, or your grandparents lived their later years. That's what it feels like to own your childhood home. You truly do feel like you own a piece of yourself, right? When you think about buying a piece of you that absolutely has an emotional attachment to you, it's your childhood home. And if you want to start the process of healing, I got to imagine that your childhood home is a critical part of that healing. And you can heal your inner child through investment. Think about that. You can truly heal your inner child through investment. You can invest in emotional support. You can invest in emotional healing. You can invest in financial healing. You can invest in your childhood healing. But let me tell you something. When you invest dollars in real estate, you're going to make more dollars, and that's healing. So guess what? I want you to really start thinking about reclaiming your childhood capital, guys. Your childhood home is the house that saw your dreams before the world did. Think about that. Your childhood home is like your father, the first man to love you. Your childhood home, I got chills right now thinking about it. Guys, these things are natural. Your childhood home has a natural pull on you, has a natural emotional connection to you. We can control this emotional connection. Think about that. We can control this one. We need money, but we can absolutely control the emotional connection. And can you imagine the levels that you're going to reach when you walk into your childhood home as a new owner? with the keys. And you can heal, relive, and repair and replenish and restore and reclaim everything that was taken from you. Get involved, guys. Let's go.